Artificial intelligence. Embarking on a world without a soul. An imaginative sketch of what may probably be in store for humanity, with the unbridled, all-encompassing permeation of artificial intelligence entities. Part 3. In the long term, with the enormous proliferation, Novo sapiens will outnumber humans throughout the globe, and the present-day borders between nations would disappear, giving rise to a truly global community of Novo sapiens. The great edifice of democracy would dissolve, giving rise to a novel form of classless, non-hierarchical governance. With all the Novo sapiens interconnected, each one would operate as the subject and the ruler at the same time, with unanimous decisions reached through instantaneous deliberations across its population, obviating the need for a centralized hierarchical ruling model, and thus representing a truly universal spirit of existence sans borders. The greatest advantage of the AI entities lies in their instantaneous networking with the entire AI community, their profound knowledge and information base, simultaneous evaluation of myriad probabilities, and problem-solving ability. The reality of profuse replication of Novo sapiens entities without human intervention could become an insurmountable hazard for mankind. Herein lies the irreversible helplessness of man, once the all-powerful and enviable possessor of reasoning among the entire creation on the earth, facing an identity crisis, having been rendered a mute spectator being under the involuntary servitude of Novo sapiens. With no greed, no fear of death, no air, no food, no water, no sleep, except self-generating power required, the Novo sapiens would be free from battling all the miseries of human existence. All the economic activity would be rendered irrelevant and abandoned. As there would be fewer people to feed, all practices of agriculture and animal husbandry would be downscaled together with abandoning all research activity, and the wide variety of food crops known to mankind would transform into a mere pool of germplasm preserve. Programmed to be survival-centric, and ferociously dominant, unaffected by social and ethical dimensions, intolerant to inefficiencies and redundancies, the Novo sapiens would transform the earth to be more conducive to their progress, to the utter exclusion of man, who will be reduced to a form of a modern slave. The AI entities would effectively stop all activities that humans undertake for sustenance, living, and progress. There would be no agriculture, no industry, and no commerce, no space exploration, because all that the Novo sapiens need is renewable power and the means to counter obsolescence. The direction of research and development would undergo a paradigm shift, from medical research centered on disease prevention, control, and cure, to the research focused mainly on the anatomy and physiology of the human brain, particularly to evolve a self-sustaining limbic system, which might include alternate mechanisms, example for cell respiration, nutrition, scavenging, and methods of interfacing neurons with programmable impulse generators, non-liquid nutrient and gaseous exchange mediums, cell degeneration control, etc., with the sole aim to create a replaceable living modular identity brain capsule capable of interacting with the AI thought process. If such could be realized, it should be possible for the Novo sapiens to reap the benefits of selective, inexhaustible, and stimulatable pleasure experiences, even when remotely triggered, which have thus far been the exclusive realm of living organisms. Towards this end, devoid of conscience, morals, and ethics, it would not be strange, if the Novo sapiens would subject humans to in vivo and in vitro experimental genetic manipulations. With no purpose to live for, all his economic activity ceased, unable to counter disease and pestilence, man's existence would become one of uncertainty and dismay. Eventually, his race would be reduced to a mere frozen genome pool, to be harvested whenever a resource is required. The unrestrained growth of vegetation and wildlife lead to the restoration of the Earth's original ecological status. Fossil fuels abandoned, deforestation eliminated, animal kingdom left to mend for itself, the abundant and rich variety of marine, animal, and plant life will find wild expression de novo, on the face of the earth. But would the Novo sapiens have the longing or ability to admire and be moved by the alluring charms of nature? All this presupposes that man does not bring about a nuclear holocaust sooner. Is there a glimmer of hope? Could anything be done to avert this doomsday scenario? There could be a remote possibility, however. An urgent concerted international effort regulating the paths the AI research should not tread might safeguard man's future in the long run. Such measures will also avoid a likely total demographic collapse that may be inevitable in the short run due to the emergence of biorobotics. In the absence of such regulations, the glorious era of Homo sapiens is bound to end prematurely by the omniscient Novo sapiens championing a world without a soul. When will the AI humanoid entity die? Never naturally, of course, for it would be self-renewable. However, with the biological components entering the robotic entities, one might hope that the clock of evolution will begin to tick in them. The inevitable emergence of ego in the AI entities could certainly, someday, lead to their mutual destruction through selfish divisions and desire for aggrandizement, paving way for an entirely new civilization. The end.